Hi everyone. Today's card making is going to be a little bit different. I've already gone ahead and cut out all my bits. I'm using white and baby pink cardstock today. I'll go through that with you when we start the card. I've taken out quite a lot of different die sets. I've taken out the Floral Finery Magnificent Fronds, the Whimsy Foliage. I'm going to be using a sentiment from the Trio Frame Occasional Sentiments, and I'm going to have a new baby girl, and that's a lovely stamp set. The Layered Differently Ornate Rectangles, and I've cut myself out a couple of Delightful Daisies, but the star of the show for this card today is the new release of the Panel Perfection collection. And I think there's 6 altogether in the collection, and I've bought 4 so far, so I'm going to be using this one today and show you what the Panel Perfection collection is all about. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Anyway, let's pop all them to one side, and I'll go through all of them as we go along with this card. So if I take in all my bits, I've cut myself card blank, which is A4 in width, scored that down the middle, and that now measures, so that's 8 1/4 by just over 5 3/4, and that's going to be quite a nice size card. I'll pop all those bits off a minute, pop all that to one side. My first white matte layer is just under 5 3/4 by 1/8 over 8. And then my next piece to go on top of there is this beautiful design. Now, this came from the Panel Perfection collection. And what I've done is I've cut this one. So that would be this one if I turn it over. I've cut that into the cardstock, and I've cut that twice. So if I just take this out and show you what I've done. So this one was cut into the cardstock, and then I took it out and run it through again and did the same on this side. So that's cut into the cardstock. And then with this center panel, I've cut this out of the cardstock. And what I did with this one is I took the panel, and then I took the largest outer edge, put that through my die cutting machine, and it gave me this panel with a nice frame around it. So that's how I've done all those. Just pop all these back. And then for the top of these, I wanted a baby pink. So all I did was put the second and third one in. So that would be these two. So you just pop those down, get them nicely lined up. And I always tape mine down on my cutting plates. Cut that through, and then you get this really, really dainty panel. So I did a panel for the inner one, another one for this one, and then one for this side. So that's what the front of my card's going to look like. So if I just pop all that to one side a minute, take in my first white matte layer. This panel I want to glue to this layer. As always, get a nice amount of glue all over the back of that piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to go up these inner edges. I'm not going to put glue on the lattice. I don't mind that floating. I'm going to line this up. There we go. So just get that nicely lined up. I've already put the foam tape on the back of this, but I'm going to give that a nice press down from the back. And there's our first panel on. And this one is going to sit on top of my card base. And if I take my pokey tool, I'm going to take my back ends halfway. These dies are really beautiful. There is so much you can do with them. They're so versatile. And I'm going to get this layer, get that one nicely lined up. And then we can remove those backing tapes. So that's the base of the card done. Now with this lattice piece, I've put foam tape on the back of this as well because I want this center one to be raised. I'm going to take all the backings off. I'm going to try and get this lined up as perfect as I possibly can. And I think that is pretty good. So can you see we've lined that up quite nicely. Now with these really delicate thin borders, I would like these to sit over the top. Pop it on my glass mat. And then I'm just gonna pop this down. Run that through the glue. And then we can line this one up. So there's our first panel down. That is quite difficult actually. I am actually gonna just pop this all around the edge. I thought it would be easier doing it with the glue on my glass mat, but I don't think it is. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. It is very narrow, and then just a tiny bit down there. And this is when I wish I could use tweezers. I'm going to get that one lined up best I can, and then again we need to do the same with this top one. So what I thought I would like to do with this, I've got lots of different floral elements and leaves. Got some daisies. Just get all this out a minute. So there's all my bits that I've cut out. Now these are the Adornments Collection Whimsy foliage. So they're a beautiful swirly foliage. Then we've got our Magnificent Fronds. So that again is from the Adornments collection. And the daisies that I've cut out from the Delightful Daisies. So pop that to one side. If I take in my foam mat, I'm going to turn all these upside down. And I actually prefer my daisies to be flat, but I think for this card we do need to have a little bit of shape on them. So I'm going to take in my ball tool, and all I'm going to do is shape the ends. I'm not going to go right up to the center, so I'm just going to give the ends some shape like so, and then when we turn those over they will curl up like a little daisy. So if we just get all these done. So that's the daisies shaped. I'm going to do the same with the fronds. I'm going to turn those over, and I'm just going to curl the ends of those. That's all I want to do with them. So that's those. And then these I'll curl with my pokey tool. Let's just pop all that off a minute. With the daisies, these are going to be doubles. Tiny bit of glue on the back. Just give them a squash down. So that one is that one. That's our daisies. And what I'd like to do is pop a baby pink gem. So I'm gonna tiny bit of glue. We're not having no glitter on this card. And for these tiny ones, I'm going to use the smallest. Pop that one in the centre of there. Now, who says daisies have to have a yellow centre? It's the whole point of crafting and being creative is you can choose what colours you want. And we're having pink. And then I'm going to pop a big one in this, the largest daisy. So as you'll see, we've gone up in sizes: a 3, a 5 and a 7. Just give that a bit of a squash down, then we can lift up all our petals. So that's our daisies. So the middle size one is going to sit just there. Give that one a press down, and then these 2 small ones, and when the glue's dry we can poke up all these petals. We're going to have one just there. Give that one a squash down. And then this one's going to come just over this side. So that's those. And then this big one is going to go just at the bottom here. And this one I think I'll have just sat on the edge of the lattice border. Let's just hold that one down for a couple of seconds. So that's all the florals that I'm having on this card. And with the leaves, I'm going to chop them down. Lift up that floral. So there's one there. Again, chop that down. That one's going to sit just there. So say I will lift up all those daisy petals when it's dry. So with these tiny fronds, I'm going to give them a curl. Pop some glue on the back of there. This one's going to sit just under there. And then we've got one, this one I want coming in this way. So give that a tiny bit of shape. And then this one is going to sit just under there. So there we are at the moment with that. We might as well finish the bottom as we're working on the bottom. So one that way and the other one that way. That's right. So lefts and rights. Give those some shape. This one's going to sit just there. Tiny bit of glue on the back there. Lift this one up. And that one's going to sit just there. This one is going to go just there. And then this one's going to come down. Give my baby pink ones some shape. That one's going to go just under there. We've got one pink one left. When I cut out the trellis, I cut some in pink as well, which released all these beautiful little squares. I'm going to put a few just random. I'm not doing anything. So there's 3 there. I'm going to have one up there, maybe. Let's start by doing these a minute. I think that one's the right way. And this is what they call paper piecing. So we're just going to paper piece a few bits in. There's that one. So there's those 3. Put that one down there. That one there. And just there. Okay, I think that's enough embellishments on there. Now all we need to do is our sentiment. And as I say, I'm going to use the Tri-Frame Occasional Sentiment, A New Baby Girl. A new baby. And I thought I would do this sponge sugar. But then I don't know if you're going to see. Yeah, sponge sugar's the better colour. Let's get a nice amount of ink on there. And let's see what that stamps up like. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be any good actually, but we'll have a go. A New Baby Girl. Oh, it does show. Not the right colour. More chance of it being this colour, this darker colour, which was Saltwater Taffy. So there's a New Baby Girl. Lovely. Let that one a wipe off. And now I want to fussy cut these out. And I'm just going to pop these up with a tiny bit of the narrow foam tape. So we've got a new baby. And just enough to do that one. What a beautiful card. Now on the inside I'm just going to write congratulations, I think. Pick up that stamp, and again I am going to ink this up in the Saltwater Taffy. So I'm just going to stamp this one off a minute to make sure that it's stamping okay. Perfect. Open this one up. Get my card nicely lined up. I'm going to stamp that just there. So that's in the pink. Congratulations. A New Baby Girl. Congratulations. Plenty of room to write a message. How beautiful is that for a new baby? Let's just pop that there a minute so that doesn't touch. And there we go. A really pretty new baby card. I hope you enjoyed my little video. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, bye for now.